Sadgurunath Maharaj Ki Jai, and welcome to Jagadambe Reads the Holy Books of India. Mahabharata 518. As you may remember, Balarama was praising Duryodhana and putting Bhima down. Spitting out these words, Balarama went to Duryodhana and took tender leave of him. Duryodhana's eyes were full of love and gratitude for this great man who was ready to fight the Pandavas for his sake. Balarama left the spot with an angry face and ascended his chariot. He hurried to Dwarka without even bidding farewell to the Pandavas. Krishna must have mentally heaved a sigh of relief. He did not mind the anger of Balarama now. A bowl of wine set before him by the fair hands of Revati would make him forget all this. Krishna had been able to save the Pandavas from the wrath of his dreadful brother. That was enough. Krishna was sorry for Bhima. He was standing crestfallen at the words of Balarama. He had been dreaming of this moment all these years. They all knew about his oath. They knew that he would do it. Actually, during the fight, he had forgotten the oath. It was Arjuna who had reminded him of it, and now Arjuna himself was standing aside as though he did not approve of his action either. Krishna guessed all that was passing through the mind of Bhima, and he came to him. He took Bhima's hand in his and said, "Bhima, I am proud of you. You have done what you had sworn to do. It's not given to every person to fulfill an oath. I'm glad to see that you have done all that you've been longing to do." Yudhishthira smiled at Bhima. Bhima rushed to the presence of his brother. He fell at his feet. Bathing them with his tears, he said, "I'm offering this world to you, my lord. It is yours. The long, long story of hatred is ended. You have no more enemies. Draupadi will give up sleeping on the floor. She will be happy. I've achieved all that I have wanted to achieve. I crave your blessings, my lord." Yudhishthira lifted him up and embraced him. The Pandava host now broke out into wild shouts of joy. The tension caused by the anger of Balarama had been snapped by this tender scene between Bhima and his brother. They all rushed to Bhima, and they congratulated him over his victory over Duryodhana. Krishna said, "Let us not kill this man who has already been slain. This man, this Duryodhana, was the greatest sinner on the earth. He had so many people to advise him to do the right thing. He would not listen to the words of Vidura. Instead, he listened only to the advice of Shakuni and treated his cousins shamefully. That is why he's lying on the ground, dying. Let us leave him and go away from here. He is now worse than a piece of wood." Duryodhana had been listening to the words of all of them. He rose up on his waist like a wounded cobra, which is not dead yet. He was suffering intense agony because of his efforts to raise his body. But he did not mind that. He said, "Krishna, stop these words. You are just a slave of Kamsa. You are not even a king. You have no shame. I have been killed most unfairly, and you are gloating over my fall. You were responsible for this act of Bhima. I do not blame him at all. In all fairness to Bhima, I must say that he had forgotten his oath. He was fighting a fair game. You brought the talk round to unfair fighting. When you were talking to Arjuna, you spoke loud, deliberately, to make Bhima hear you." Arjuna slapped his thigh. "Do you think I did not mark it? You have caused so many kings to be killed by unfair means. Do you dare to call me a sinner? I know all your actions, Krishna." Sadgurunath Maharaj Ki Jai. Thank you for coming. I hope you come again.